Well, it sure looks like this dispute that we're seeing between the two major railways is getting pretty serious. We've got CN, we've got CPKC butting heads with the Teamsters Canada Rail Conference. They've reached a critical point in their negotiations right now, and the TCRC has issued a 72-hour strike notice this morning to CPKC. They've signaled that unless a last-minute deal is reached, workers will begin their strike at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time this Thursday, so 3 days from now. There are over 9,000 workers that will potentially be off the job by Thursday. That would lead to obviously massive disruptions across Canada's supply chains. Now, in response to this latest news, CN, they've also announced that it will lock out its workers at the same time unless an agreement or binding arbitration is reached. They say, unless there is an immediate and definite resolution to the labor conflict, CN will have no choice but to continue the phased and progressive shutdown of its network, which would culminate in a lockout. In fact, CN has already begun a phased shutdown of its network that includes barring container imports from U.S. partner railways and a halting shipments of temperature-sensitive goods like meat and medicine. This potential work stoppage is causing some serious alarm, some considerable alarm here amongst various industry groups who worry that the economic impact of delayed shipments and increased costs would be severe. Obviously, rail lines are a critical part to Canada's economy. They transport over $1 billion worth of goods every day. Disruption in services there would have widespread consequences for manufacturers and obviously for exporters as well. Now, Federal Labor Minister Stephen McKinnon, he has declined CN's request for binding arbitration so far. Instead, he's encouraging the parties to negotiate in good faith. The union, meanwhile, it has criticized CN for putting the Canadian economy at risk to improve its bottom line. CPKC, for their part, they insist that it is not unilaterally changing the terms of a collective agreement, contrary to what the union is claiming. The company says that they're offering a status quo contract renewal for competitive wage increases with new regulatory requirements. So where is this going to end up here? Negotiations are going to continue over the coming days here. The threat of a significant labor stoppage is absolutely real. More than half of Canada's exports rely on rail transport. The outcome of these talks will have a major implication for our economy, no matter how it works out. The clock is ticking. Both sides here are preparing for a potential shutdown. All that's left right now is to wonder at this time whether there will be a last-minute agreement reached to avert a crisis. Alimentation Couche-Tard, which is, of course, the Canadian convenience store giant. You think Circle K, you think On the Run, you think Max. It is potentially acquiring 7 & I Holdings, which is the operator of the 7-Eleven chain in Japan. Now, 7 & I, they've confirmed that it received a non-binding and confidential proposal from Couche-Tard. That has prompted them to form a special committee of independent directors to review the office. The company has clarified that they're not yet in formal talks with Couche-Tard and they haven't sought any alternative offers at this stage. In a statement, they said, neither the board of directors nor the special committee has made any determination at this time to either accept or reject the proposal. This isn't the first time that Couche-Tard has shown an interest in 7 & I. In fact, they made a similar approach back in 2020, but they were turned down at the time. What's different now is that Japan has updated its guidelines on corporate takeovers, and they're now more aligned with global practices. They're making it harder for companies to reject a serious acquisition attempts. This change could be a game changer for Couche-Tard's bid here. On the news, 7 & I shares, they were up nearly 23% on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. Obviously, that indicates that there's strong interest in the deal itself. If this deal does go through, the acquisition would be the largest purchase of a Japanese company by a foreign entity. Now, Couche-Tard, they operate around 17,000 stores globally right now, obviously a massive player there. Acquiring 7 & I, which has 85,000 stores worldwide, that'd be a huge expansion, especially giving them more market share in Asia. Of course, 7 & I might still push back against Couche-Tard's offer in this case. Even prior to the offer, the company was reportedly working with financial advisors to prepare defenses against potential foreign takeovers. Sleep is vital for everyone, investors, athletes, parents. That's why you should invest in a Fawcett mattress. Made with natural, healthy materials like Talon latex, Joma wool, and organic cotton, their mattresses support your best rest. Crafted on Vancouver Island, each mattress is personalized for ultimate comfort. Get 10% off store-wide with the code BEAVIS10. Enjoy free shipping across Canada with a 10-year warranty, because great sleep means great days. Now, considering the challenges that are faced by TD Bank these days, would you be more likely to invest in TD or a competitor, for example, Royal Bank? That is the poll question in this week's Pulse newsletter. I will put a link here to Saturday's newsletter. You can weigh in with your thoughts. I publish the final results in the following weekend's edition. If you're not already subscribed to the Pulse, go ahead and give it a try. My goal with the newsletter is just simply to provide a tight, informative recap to the most important stories of the week. I'm pretty sure you're going to find it valuable. Click on the QR code here to join the crowd. There's an interesting trend that's developing in Canada's real estate market. For a lot of first-time home buyers, the idea of purchasing a condo, which has been traditionally a big part of the market, is becoming less and less attractive. It is true that condos offer less responsibility. They might suit someone who's living alone. But things like high monthly fees and the shrinking size of the new units that are being built today have become major turnoffs for many, and this sentiment is becoming more and more common. A recent survey by real estate search portal Point2, they found that only 12% of Canadian renters are interested in buying a condo, with an even lower interest among younger and older age groups. 70% of respondents still say that they prefer single-family homes. One of the key issues is the shrinking size of the condos. And if we look at Ontario, the average condo size has dropped by 35% since the mid-1990s. New units are now averaging around 700 square feet. We've seen similar trends in British Columbia. Condos built in the 2010s are around 15% smaller than those that they saw back in the 80s and the 90s. And this downsizing is especially noticeable in the major cities like Toronto and Vancouver, things like limited land availability. It basically forces the developers to build upwards rather than outwards. That constrains the potential size of the units. Now, monthly condo fees and the possibility of special assessments for unexpected repairs, that also adds to the financial burden. It also makes condos a little bit less appealing. Now, as a result of this, some buyers, they're choosing to move further away from the city centers to find more spacious options. Others are just simply opting out of the condo market altogether. A federal judge has put at least a temporary stop to the launch of Venu Sports, which is a new sports streaming service created by Disney, Fox, and Warner Brothers Discovery. And this decision came after Fubo, which is a smaller sports streaming service. They requested a preliminary injunction, and they were arguing that the venture could unfairly dominate the market and reduce competition. U.S. District Judge Margaret Garnett, she agreed with Fubo's claims. In her ruling, she wrote, "It appears to the court that Fubo is likely to succeed on its claims that by entering into the joint venture defendants will substantially lessen competition and restrain trade in the relevant market." Now, Fubo had filed a lawsuit back in February against the three media giants that we're looking at here. They are accusing them of trying to monopolize the sports streaming space by pooling their sports rights into one powerful service. That would then be able to squeeze out smaller competitors like Fubo. Now the court's ruling has at least delayed the launch of Venu Sports, which was originally set to begin before this season's NFL season. Now the service, expected to be priced at $42.99 a month. That was expected to bring a broad range of sports content, including the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, and more in addition to that. And it was designed to appeal to cord cutters who are looking for more comprehensive sports coverage. Fubo stock trading up around 23% this morning, up over 50% for the past few trading sessions. So obviously there's a clear sign investors have confidence in the smaller company's position here. Fubo's CEO, David Gandler, he emphasized that it would ensure a more competitive sports streaming market. Now, meanwhile, Disney, Fox, Warner Brothers, they have expressed their disagreement with the ruling. They've announced plans to appeal. And in a statement, they say, "We respectfully disagree with the court's ruling and are appealing it. We believe that Fubo's arguments are wrong on the facts and the law, and that Fubo has failed to prove it is legally entitled to a preliminary injunction. Venu Sports is a pro-competitive option that aims to enhance consumer choice by reaching a segment of viewers who currently are not served by existing subscription options." That is all for today. I will be back here Thursday of this week with my next update. Hope to see you then.